Hi, today we're looking at The Fall on the Hill. It's one of my favourite Beatles songs, so therefore one of my favourite songs. Absolutely brilliant chord sequence. And like with a lot of these lessons, what I'm doing is not necessarily picking out what the guitar's doing on the song. In fact, I'm definitely not doing that today. There's not a lot of guitar on this song. What I'm doing is looking at the overall sound of each chord in the song, mainly the piano, but there's sort of a few different things going on. And I'm combining the sounds I'm hearing to come up with some chord shapes on the guitar, just so that you can play it and make it sound as close to the song as possible just with an acoustic guitar or an electric guitar. So there's some weird shapes that we're going to be playing because of that, but I think it sounds good and I think it sounds close to the song. So the first one is a D6. There's lots of ways of playing D6 on a guitar. This particular shape I think sounds like the song. So I'll show you what it is. You need to have second finger on the 5th fret, 1st string, 4th finger, 7th fret on the 2nd string, 1st finger on the 4th fret of the 3rd string, and you play 4 strings, so you miss out the E and the A. So we've got open 4, 7, 5. That's D6. Now the intro is just one bar of that. So it's just. So you could just do 4 strums, or you could do a kind of a piano style thing where you play these 3 strings with your fingers and then play the bass note afterwards with your thumb. Different ways you could play that. So experiment with that. So that's the intro, just one bar of that. And then the verse is another bar of that D6, followed by E minor over D. Now, E minor over D is where we just go to 7 on the 1st string, 8 on the 2nd string, 9 on the 3rd string, but keep the D open string bass note. So you've got 0 or open, 9, 8, 7. So it's not the easiest change to get from one to the other, but if you practice it a little bit, you'll get that. So we do a bar of D6, a bar of E minor over D, and then that repeats. So it's like this. I'll just strum the basic beats for now. And that's the verse. Right, the pre-chorus is a 3-bar sequence. That's quite strange to have 3 bars, but the Beatles did a lot of that kind of thing where they put in odd numbers of bars, odd numbers of beats. It just, they really sort of played around with the timings a lot. So this is a 3-bar sequence. So we need E minor 7. Now the best way to play this, I think, is a bar chord, which is barring 7th fret over 5 strings, so not on this one. And then 2nd finger on the 8th on the 2nd string, 3rd finger on the 9th on the 4th string. So we've got, you can have the open E for this if you want. So we've got open 7, 9, 7, 8, 7. So that's E minor 7. Then we go to A, which is just a normal bar chord at 5th fret, covering all of the strings. You probably know this. It's an E-shaped bar chord. So we've got 5, 7, 7, 6, 5, 5. E minor 7, 2 beats, A for 2 beats. The D6 we played before for 2 beats. And then B minor 7 for 2 beats. And B minor 7, bar chord at 7th fret all the way across. And just 1 finger here on the 9 on the 5th string. Probably 3rd finger's best. So I'll just play those 4 chords together like this. A little bit awkward to get to that D6, but it's worth practicing it because it does sound good. And then after that, I've got the E minor 7 again, 2 more beats. And then we've got an A7. Now, I should point out that all of these sections are repeated a lot, and in later pre-choruses, this is just an A. But in this first pre-chorus it's an A7, so you just play the A chord without your little finger. And if you want to accentuate the 7, which I think the piano is probably doing at this point, just add little finger onto the 8th fret of the 2nd string. So now we've got 5, 7, 5, 6, 8, 5. I think if I was playing this song I'd use that one rather than that, but they both work. So I'll just play the whole of the pre-chorus for you. Okay, and just to clarify that difference with the other pre-choruses, I'm going to play one of the later pre-choruses. Okay. So the only difference was it was an A on the end rather than the A7. And that's the pre-chorus. Then on to the chorus. The chorus is probably the hardest part to play in this song. There's a very definite change from major to minor. The verse and the intro and everything is kind of in D major in this song, and then there's a very definite change to D minor for the chorus, and that's very effective. And it's really, I think it's quite clear in this song that that's what's happening. You can really hear that shift from major to minor. So we jump down to a D minor, standard D minor chord that you probably know, which is an open chord. You've got the open 4th string. We're not playing these two. And then 2nd fret on the 3rd string, 3rd fret on the 2nd string, 1st fret on the 1st string. Now I'll talk about the timing in a second, but the next chord is called B flat over D, and what you've got to do is move that 2nd finger to the 3rd fret. Same 4 strings. So you've got D minor, B flat over D, and then we go back to D minor again. And the timing, this is 1 bar, 4 beats, D minor for the first beat, the B flat over D for the second beat, and then D minor for the next 2 beats. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And the next bar is just 4 beats of the B flat over D. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we've got C7 for a bar. You probably know this, but it's just a normal C chord. I'm sure you'll be familiar with the little finger on the 3rd string, 3rd fret. So we're not using the E string, and then we've got 3, 2, 3, 1, open. There's a bar of that. So before I show you the next part, I'm just going to demonstrate the first 3 bars of the chorus. And I'm still just playing the basic beats. You can be a bit more interesting with the strumming if you like, but I'm just demonstrating it by playing the beats. And this next bar is probably the hardest one in this song. Play a single beat on D minor, 1 strum. Then the B flat over D that we've just been using. That's actually half a beat, so we very quickly have to go to the next chord. And what we do is play that one, and then hammer on the little finger to the 4th fret of the 3rd string. Now that chord, this finger's not needed anymore, but it's easier just to leave it there. That chord is a G7 over D. So it's not using these two, and we've got open, 4, 3, 1. So it's very similar to the B flat over D. And I'm doing it as a hammer on to get the speed. So D minor, then that one, hammer on, and then we change to another one, which is a D minor 7, but not a normal D minor 7 shape. Leave first finger where it is, put your second finger where your 3rd is, and stretch your little finger out one. So it's a little bit tricky, a bit of a stretch. So we've got open 4th, and then we've got 5, 3, 1. So that whole bar played slowly is like this. And I played the D minor 7 twice because there were 2 beats at the end of that bar. So you've got 1 beat on this one, half a beat, 2 beats. So it adds up to 4. Okay, and that's the end of the chorus. So I'm just going to play the chorus for you slowly. And then from the chorus we're straight into a bridge. The bridge is just like the intro, it's one bar of D6. So we've changed back to the major key again. And then we repeat the verse, the pre-chorus, the chorus and the bridge. So everything we've just done apart from the intro. And then we're into an instrumental section. Now the instrumental part, there are 3 of these in the song, and the middle one, the second one, is slightly different. And I should point out, I only noticed this by listening to the recent 2023 mix of this that's just come out. And I noticed the difference. I hadn't noticed it before. But anyway, I'll get into what that is in a minute. But the basic sequence for the instrumental, it's very similar to the verse. We've got the D6 to E minor over D. The only slight difference is the bass notes are changing, and instead of being like this, we've got the first beat of the D6 coming from the 4th string, and then with a D bass, an A bass note, sorry. So you can play 5 strings, or what a nice way to play this might be to use your thumb on the bass notes and your fingers on these 3 strings. Then you can go. So I'm just alternating the bass. And we do the same thing on the E minor. E minor over D, and then E minor over A. That repeats. So I'll just demonstrate that. I'm going to play in a sort of a looser style, so a bit more strummy. Now I'll play it really neatly so you can hear and see exactly what's happening. So that's the instrumental section. Now I just want to quickly tell you what the variation is on the second instrumental. So this instrumental happens 3 times. On the second one, we do exactly the same thing for the first 2 bars. So we go. And then when it repeats, the D6 still has the alternating bass note. When you go to the E minor, we have the first beat is E minor over D, like before. And the next 3 beats are just E minor, which means that it's got an E bass note. So I'd probably change to a bar chord there. Like that. So go. And that only happens on the second instrumental. Out, there's 3 of them, only happens on the second one. The other 2 are that twice. And the third instrumental fades out at the end of the song, so you don't quite hear the end of it. So after that instrumental, the first one, you repeat the pre-chorus, the chorus and the bridge. Then there's another instrumental, which is the one that's got the different ending on the E minor. And then you repeat the pre-chorus, the chorus and the bridge. And then there's the third instrumental, which is like the first one. It doesn't have that E minor at the end, it just sticks with the E minor over D, E minor over A. But that one fades out. So just before the end of it, it fades out. And that's the whole song. So it's such a nice song to play. The chords are lovely. I mean, that D6, just to me, that just sounds like that song. There's lots of other D6s, but that particular shape I think works well. If you've got any questions, please do put them in the comments. and click like if you like this, and please subscribe as well if you haven't already. Okay, thanks.